Overwhelm.
Overwhelm. So I know a little something about being overwhelmed. I feel like I spend most of my life being overwhelmed. And it's only now, pretty recently, that I've been able to recognize that that's what it is. Because my whole life I felt it, but I never...
So what did you think it was before?
I guess I just assumed, like with everything, that it's just part of me. That's just how I am. Same with anything that comes with ADHD. I just thought that's just how I am. I can't concentrate, or I can't, whatever. But overwhelm was one of those things where I just thought, it's just who I am. That's just how I deal with things. I didn't know why. And it was, I think, meeting you is when I realized, and we talked more about it. And even then, even more so recently, since having a child, is when it really became apparent just how overwhelmed I get.
Yeah.
Because before having a child, I would get overwhelmed. I think in the past, I was better at like hiding it or not giving it too much attention when I felt overwhelmed, because I felt like, sure, but you just got to crack on. Like, you feel overwhelmed, but the world is looking at you like you keep going. But once you have a child to look after and you have that level of responsibility, everything is overwhelming to me. It's so intense for me, the thought of looking after a child, that the slightest thing can go wrong and I'm overwhelmed immediately. And it can be so many different scenarios. Just on a sensory level, the fact that, most of the time you can't have a conversation, or you can't like do anything without somebody being able to interrupt you, talk to you, need something, want something, something's happening with them at all times, at any given moment. That alone is overwhelming in itself.
Yeah, you don't even get to
the idea that
decompress.
like anything you're doing, unless this child is sleeping, there's always that like you're living life, but it's just, you always have to like what's going on. At least that's what it feels like to me. And it's not a bad thing. It's just because of how my brain is, it's incredibly overwhelming a lot of the times. I find that I haven't really been able to find a way out of it other than just verbalizing it a lot of the times. So if I feel myself getting overwhelmed, I try to just say it.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I think
super
often it's very apparent, but when it's not, I just say like, I'm just really overwhelmed.
I think it's, even if it is apparent, sometimes hearing it kind of switches on something else in my brain. Because I might see that you're overwhelmed, but like I see you overwhelmed a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so there's a difference between like you're overwhelmed and you need to say it. Because it's getting to that point. If me and Bella are out shopping in Newcastle, that's kind of like a high pressure environment. And then to add to it, Bella's having a meltdown, or she's just really having a difficult day. We could both be overwhelmed, but as soon as you say like, I'm feeling overwhelmed, that helps me so much. Then go, I got this. Like I'll take this one.
Yeah, right.
And I know it happens the other way around as well. If I go like, I'm overwhelmed and I'm like, I have to walk away because my fight response, I'm better walking off. And then I know that you'll take the reins and you'll like kind of toughen it up for you and Bella until I get back to a place where we can all do it together again.
Exactly. Yeah, it's different levels, isn't it? Because I have the kind of overwhelm, but it's just like a standard, regular overwhelm where you're, walking down the street. And for me, walking on a road is overwhelming.
I know,
because of all the noises. And then when you have cars, that's alone is just an overwhelming situation. But then add another human next to me, whether it's you or Bella or both, trying to talk to me. And now I have to listen and understand while the world, then it feels like, is going insane on the other side, even though there's just cars driving past. For me, it's like there's apocalypse here and you're trying to talk to me and I'm supposed to just exist.
It's hard to explain.
That's what it feels like.
It's hard to explain to people what hypersensitivities are like. And I think we have it slightly differently, but we definitely have it similar in some ways. But like, especially with sound, if you're in a busy place, all these sounds, the only way I can explain it is that all these sounds that are going around, like the cars, whatever noises going around, are all just as loud and you're unable to filter any of it.
Yeah.
It's like your brain's just not able to filter it.
Yeah.
But then like neurotypical people have like those special earplugs where it filters all the noise out, and then you can just listen to the person talking to you. So when that person's talking to you and you've got all that noise, that person talking to you has just added noise.
Added noise,
and it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Throw a smell in there.
Throw a smell
done.
or a crying
A
child. Yeah. The wind.
The wind. Ooh,
For you, it's
my
the
greatest
wind.
enemy.
Yeah, the struggle's real.
Yeah, it's very real.
And that's just like a pinch of all the different kind of hypersensitivities there are.
I find that a lot of my overwhelm comes from hypersensitivity, like whether it's a sensory thing, whether it's like the way it feels, the smell, the sound, and then on top of that, texture, exactly, and then on top of that you have sort of just the emotional overwhelm and so many.
And then to top it all off, after all that's done, you've got the guilt.
You've got the guilt, yeah.
Because it's not real adulting unless you feel guilty afterwards.
Yeah.
Which is also like another trick it's like another thing to practice, is to give yourself grace. And I think that's one of the best things about having awareness about all of this stuff. And like for us on this journey of learning everything, is that then you become aware of all of this stuff. And then when all of this stuff is happening, not only do you have like some tricks and coping strategies, but then you can give yourself grace afterwards, because you're like, it's not my fault. I'm not a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You know, I'm allowed to be this way. And also it makes it easier to like allow yourself to be like sorry.
Yeah.
A little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Of
Like
course.
even that the sorry thing is a whole separate thing, I think, because sometimes I've had moments where I feel bitter to say sorry because I know it's not my fault. And then other times I'm like, it doesn't hurt me to say sorry.
Yeah.
But then
because
I don't want to admit that it's my fault either.
Right. Yeah, and regardless of who you are, everybody has personal responsibility to be a decent human, regardless of how much you struggle.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be
respectful
absolutely. To other people.
And it seems unfair, doesn't it, for people that have all these like hypersensitivities and triggers, that they then on top of it feel like they have to apologize for all of them all the time.
Yeah.
But if you've caused somebody harm and they don't understand you fully, then sorry goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well, I'm sure there's loads of different things that we could talk about of overwhelm. But for now, that was that. Please share us your experiences. Don't forget to share this, subscribe, and yeah, thank you for listening.
Peace.